Yes.
May I have your notes graciously, my lord?
Please.
My lord, we found a document. It is, my lord, a part of the additional documents which, my lord, we have located, which is at page 126, R2A, 8.
Yes, sir. This flag.
Page 126. Grateful to my colleague.
Please.
This is 6th of May 2009. Upon the ROPA rules having come in terms of finance department.
Sorry.
Here, please.
126.
126, my lord. Printed page.
Just one. Yes, we are.
Yes. This is 6th of May 2009. In terms of Finance Department memo dated 17th August 93, the state government employees posted are eligible for dearness allowance, HRA, and compensatory city allowance in terms of memo dated 14 January 2000 on the existing scale of pay at the rates admissible to the employees of the Government of India. Consequent upon revision of pay and allowances of the state government employees with effect from 1st of January 2006 under the ROPA Rules 2009 as promulgated through notification dated 23rd February 2009, the governor has been pleased to order that the state government employees posted at New Delhi will draw dearness allowance, house rent allowance, and the transport allowance in the corresponding revised pay structure in the following manner. Dearness allowance at the central government rate. Now, my lord, please mark these words. With effect from 1/1/2006, actual payment will be made from 1/4/2008. So, my lord, in respect of these employees, they shifted the goalpost and made it with reference to the central government rate. House rent allowance and so as has been allowed by the Government of India to its employees and so on. Well, this order was noticed by the tribunal, and the tribunal, my lord, records a finding in the judgment that it is an admitted fact that throughout these employees who were in Banga Bhavan and in the youth hostel did receive the DA on that basis.
One query.
Yes.
To both Mr. Diwan and me. Now, is this in terms of or under ROPA, or is it in excess of any other power constitution of or other power?
Well,
We just want to know.
yeah, I completely understand. My lord, if the rules occupy the field and their revision of pay has taken place under these rules. So if the revision of pay, my lord, takes place under the rules, it is, my lord, logical. It's a concomitant sequitur that the DNS allowance also must be under those rules.
See the areas.
And please see, my lord, they expressly refer consequent upon revision and pay allowances of state government employees with effect from 1st of January 2006 under the.
Even the areas are according. Even the areas are according.
Yes.
You read it. The question was purposely put to both of you for
Yes.
you to respond to. You
Yes.
read it.
No, but now, let me answer that. Question. Well, once you have rules,
So according to you,
yes,
there are rules spreading the fee, and therefore the excess of the power has to be and is in fact under
Not
the
should be.
rules. That's just
that is the answer. In other words, there is no residuary executive power which is vested in the governor to either bypass the rule or improve upon the terms and conditions. That doesn't exist once it is covered by the rule. And it is also common ground that these employees were in fact governed by the ROPA rules. So we have within the ROPA rules, these Malod were clamoring for this determination of dearness allowance, and we have another set who are being granted exactly as per the central government deed. Now, Malod, the point is this formula, Malod, the reason why I mentioned 3C3, appropriate, the word appropriate means that it is based upon this index. This index, my lord, is a base. 536 is a base, which is why your lordship saw in the chart, in the entire chart, every calculation has 536. So, therefore, my lord,
One more
sorry.
worry which comes to my
Please,
mind.
please.
That is this page 126 document
Yes.
in exercise of the discretionary power vested with the government under OPA.
Malord, the discretionary power, incidentally, Malord, no, because under the ROPA rules, may I show your lordship's rules 12 and 14, because, Malord, they actually have overriding effect. Because they have overriding effect, you cannot have anything supplement because of rules 12 and 14.
What you are saying is any which way.
Yes,
Any which way.
Yes.
This is under OPA.
that's right.
And therefore, section 3, Roman 3 has to be read, the contact in the background and the control.
Now, in other words, Malord, now let me put it the other way. How is it, Malord, for the state could have said, for them, Malord, they have said that this is a different, they're living in Delhi, they're living in Chennai. But let us look at it differently.
Because the cost of living in these two cities
Yes.
is obviously high.
Yes.
Malord, let us, that is true, Malord, but then they are state government. But the point is slightly different. The point is, Malord, 3C3 contemplates a determination. That determination, Malord, has also been worked out. What I'm trying to say is, it is not that there was only one way they understood this rule. It is not that they understood this rule only in the way it has been preached to us, namely that it was frozen and I have discretion thereafter to give you what I can and when I can. They, in respect of these employees, in terms of both the working of the formula under 3C3 and the time for which they gave it, this extensive period of time, until Malord finally the tribunal said this is discriminatory and the High Court struck it down. My friend said we have not appealed against that portion of that order. Fair enough, but the fact remains, we are looking at a period, Malord, which is up to 31st of December 2019. That period cannot be effaced. The period from 1st of April 2008 to 31/12/2019, which is covered by the ROPA rules of 2009, this persisted right through. And if it persisted right through, it is, Malord, a circumstance to take into account that is it really possible that the state government did not know how to work out, shall we say, the dearness allowance payable. And, Malord, it is also not their case that this dearness allowance which they gave to these employees in Bonga Bhavan and these are not based upon the working of that 530, 539, 536. It is also not their case, Malord. It is not a case that they have adopted a formula, central government, but the point is, at no place, Malord, has the state said that if you calculate appropriately in accordance with the All India Consumer Price Index, IW, the result would be the rate which we have asked for, which was determined by the central government. And, Malord, AICPI, that rate, is a yardstick. It's a norm. But if you embrace that norm, you must abide by that norm. Malord, in terms of even, it's not only a matter of good governance, but as a matter of law, if you embrace a norm as you're holding out, you are stopped from suggesting to the contrary because there is a rule. And that is why, Malord, this is an obligation under a rule. And since it is an obligation under a rule, it is a statutory obligation compellable by mandamus. Now, my lord, an argument was raised. How can the tribunal do some quick footwork and come to this conclusion and issue these panoply of directions? My lord, really, that was done by the tribunal in respect of, my lord, a vexed question that should they get it twice a year or should they get it once a year? And, my lord, there was silence. There was nothing very clear. They said the way in which even this dearness allowance has been released partakes of an ad hoc and whimsical character. And if it is ad hoc and whimsical, it is important that there should be some norms. Whether it is once a year or twice a year, we suggest it should be twice a year. The Pay Commission said twice a year. The rule, my lord, doesn't forbid twice a year. And, my lord, as a matter of fact, in that document of 23rd of February 2009, your lordships will see they've also given it sometimes when it pleases them, twice a year. So, my lord, this is the point. They cannot be, my lord, surely the arbiters of destiny when it is not only a matter of contract, but, my lord, an employee of the government, it is a matter of status governed by the rules.
Can you,
Sorry.
sorry to disturb you.
No, my lord. I was just telling my learned friend, I think it's after quite a few years, we've seen two advocates general, eminent advocates general, my lord, sitting and adorning the bench in this court. It's after quite some time, my lord.
Can you show us the language of the central revision of payrolls?
Central revision. Yes, certainly.
ROPA,
Yes.
we may call it central
Yes.
ROPA.
Yes. In
What
fact,
is the language in central ROPA
yes,
vis-a-vis the dearness allowance?
certainly.
Whether they also use this index average of 5%?
Yes, my lord. In
And-
fact,
And whether there is any reference to AICPI in the central rule?
yes, my lord. Because even the latest 3%, which was announced yesterday, is based upon, my lord, the AICPI index point moving upwards. And, my lord, it moved actually, my lord, the basis has slightly changed, but it is AICPI.
AICPI is mentioned in the rules itself,
Uh,
or AICPI is mentioned in the notification? Separate
my lord, I will-
notification,
for the
whenever
central government.
DA is given an inquiry.
I'll just verify it, my lord, and then make an accurate statement. But I'm very grateful, my lord, because the central government, my lord, is also a government. It is a government established under the constitution in our federal setup. And, my lord, it also follows a method. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Well, Lord, I'm deeply grateful to my Lord Justice Mishra. We have the rule, my Lord. I'll just hand over copies of it. This is, my Lord, the Central Civil Services Revised Pay Rules of 2016.
You have copies?
Yes, my Lord. We're just getting it, my Lord. My Lord, this expression, existing emoluments, occurs even in these.
Index provided?
Yes, yes.
Can we just read?
Yes, yes, my Lord.
Can we borrow your
My
laptop?
Lord, may I read out first?
Can we just borrow it?
Please, please. Existing emoluments, and your lordships will find.
Is it parameter? I presume?
Parimaterium, my Lord, it has an index average.
No, but this denominator at index average 536 is not mentioned.
Which one, my Lord? But that is because, my Lord, this index average is this AICPI IW average.
Yes. As on.
Over 2016, please. I have actually brought the earlier rules, which are the 2008 rules, my Lord. In that, your lordships will find it expressly refers to the index average 536. I'm grateful to my president.
Index average depends on the period when it is considered.
Yes, it is put out.
That's
So because this narrows down to
Completely.
consideration
Yes.
whether AICPI is only a method of calculation or AICPI itself is central DA.
I'm deeply obliged. I'm deeply obliged.
Whether we
Yes.
understand the word AICPI to mean central DA, the rate of central DA.
Yes, it happens
Central
not to be
rate
the
of
same.
central DA.
Because if you work on that formula,
Yes.
you will get at the same.
Because the language is the same.
Yes.
They say, according to the West Bengal government,
Yes.
this definition of existing emolument
That's right.
excludes application of AICPI,
That's right.
according to them.
Which is why I wanted to show you what this rule itself. This rule is identical. So, my lord, what this implies
Now, be
is,
ready, you have to answer this.
yes. So, my lord, what needs to be understood is that this is therefore, my lord, an evolving. Look, when we say index,
You have not developed your case.
which one? My
You have not developed your case like this. You means your.
lord, I must say,
when it comes from the court, we have to answer.
my lord,
Our
with
terms come-
respect, my lord, I'm obliged. I, to be very honest and my lord, to be candid, I did not think through this point. I'm obliged. I'm being honest, my lord.
No, just it's a way of thinking. It may not be.
No, but
completely
no, no,
applicable.
but the important point is, which your lordships asked me, is that what is AICPI and is this index, this average indexing? That's one of this word, both average and indexation, they have meanings.
Then now comes the question:
Yes,
where is this enabling provision or
Yes.
enabling instructions available with any government to calculate the DA basing on AICPI?
well, that is because this 536, which your lordship see, is actually only from AICPI. Well, let me explain this a little. This AICPI, Lord, is an exercise undertaken, it is not belongs to a private agency. It is undertaken by the central government itself in its two departments, a lot of consumer affairs and labor. And what they do, my lord, is this. They apply, my lord, different bands. But for industrial workers, that is the basis, my lord, for this revision of DNS allowance. And, my lord, what they do is that they calculate and then they calculate what is the extent of variation. And if the variation is substantial, it's not that, my lord, they don't sometimes give it immediately after a little increase. There might be a gap between one increase and another increase. So what they do is they actually give this percentage based upon these indices. So, my lord, this All India Consumer Price Index, the ascertainment of this average index is a governmental function. And at this moment, it is being performed by the central government. In some of the cases which my learned friend referred to, which deal with industrial disputes, well, there are some references to DNS allowance, but government servants, my lord, are bound in some sense by a determination of a formula by the central government because it is an all India. Now, I am not saying, my lord, for a moment that they could not have come up with another, if I may say so, rational formula. But if they choose to adopt the central government, and which is what your lordship saw, they have been doing since 1979 in the Pay Commission's report. So consistency demands that you come in alignment with it. That is what, my lord, the Pay Commission recommended. So for the state government today to say that it is frozen, and after which I will only give, your lordship asked again, my lord, the critical question, tell us what basis did you work? Where did you get the rates from? If you decided to give 2%, where did you get 2% from? 5% from? Well, Lord, there is no suggestion in any affidavit that they did some independent work for the purpose of ascertaining the consumer price index, West Bengal, and they came to different conclusions and their statistics were different and they formed a model. That is not their case. This 536, well, they also acknowledge that this is All India Consumer Price Index. Well, they say, which is why your lordship saw in that note of Mr. Divan, item number 11 yesterday, he admits that this is the All India Consumer Price Index. Then, my lord, the word index, my lord, in the very nature, clearly shows it is a pointer, it is an indicator, it is like a, my lord, a formula. In fact, my lord, that word is now used in computer algorithmic. But it is an indicator. And why does it use the word average, my lord? Because this average of 536 was for all the 12 months which preceded that 536. So, my lord, they take a weighted average of the entire year. And that is that final figure which your lordship see in that column. So, my lord, the question is 536 within brackets 1982 is equal to 100? Does it not furnish a clear mathematical formula? That is the point. If it does, it is a formula, it is exact, it is precise. Well, it is not left to discretion. It is a precise way of calculating it. And, my lord, it is not suggested that DNS allowance is not for the purpose of offsetting cost of inflation. It is also not suggested that this formula, if worked as a formula of indexation, then in that case, you will arrive at proper mathematical percentages, my lord, as we have shown in that chart. And, my lord, it is not that they could not use or prepare this chart. Please take this. It is not that, my lord, they were not aware of this chart, because it was on this chart, on the basis of this calculation, they, my lord, gave those employees this particular rate. So, my lord, this is, if I may say so, the summum bonum as far as the case is concerned. Now, my lord, as far as the legal position is concerned, my lord, there were some judgments which